let's get into it. So, those that know a bit about me will gather by now that I'm somewhat of a movie buff. It doesn't matter, classic, old, action, new, it doesn't matter. Nevertheless, there's a scene from a 1961 Twilight Zone episode. Despite my efforts to ignore this, I keep correlating what happened in this episode to what's unfolding right now. Welcome to the New World Order. In The Obsolete Man, Burgess Meredith plays a librarian condemned by a totalitarian state for the crime of being unnecessary. The tribunal doesn't execute him with bullets or blades. They simply declare him obsolete, categorized, filed away, and scheduled for deletion because the system no longer had use for his particular category of human. When Meredith's character asks what will happen to the others like him, the Chancellor replies with chilling efficiency. They will be processed according to the law. We are not living in a television drama, but the processing has begun. This is not science fiction. This is the architectural blueprint of the New World Order being constructed around us in real time. A fundamental restructuring of what it means to have economic value, social purpose, or basic necessity in a civilization that has discovered it can function and function better without the majority of its human population performing labor. The humanoid workforce is not coming. It is being deployed. AI's humanoid robots are already working in BMW factories. Tesla's Optimus is being trained for general purpose labor. Agility Robotics Digit is sorting packages in Amazon warehouses. These are not prototypes in clean rooms. They are production models working alongside human workers, learning their jobs, recording their movements, and performing the physical tasks that have employed the working class since the Industrial Revolution. They don't tire, unionize, require health care, bathroom breaks, or dignity. And critically, they don't demand wages. They generate return on investments. The mathematics are brutal in their simplicity. A human warehouse worker costs approximately $35,000 to $45,000 annually in wages, plus benefits, insurance, workers' compensation, and the administrative overhead of human resources. A humanoid robot costs roughly $250,000 up front, requires electricity and maintenance, and operates continuously. The break-even point is approximately 18 months. After that, the machine generates pure surplus value, while the human generates pure cost. In the logic of late capitalism, this isn't a choice between compassion and efficiency. It is an inevitability encoded in quarterly earnings reports. But this transition extends far beyond warehouse automation. We are witnessing the mechanization of cognitive labor at a scale that makes the Industrial Revolution look like a minor adjustment. Large language models now perform legal research, draft contracts, analyze medical imaging, write code, generate marketing campaigns, and diagnose diseases. Goldman Sachs estimates that 300 million full-time jobs at risk of automation globally. The World Economic Forum predicts that while 85 million jobs may be displaced by AI by 2025, only 97 million new roles will emerge. A net positive in their accounting, but catastrophic displacement of 85 million people who possess skills that were, until recently, considered secure. The New World Order is categorized by this specific asymmetry. The elimination of human labor is occurring faster than the creation of new economic categories for humans to occupy. We are not simply changing jobs, people. We are becoming economically redundant. Consider the trajectory of human value over the past century. In the industrial model, human labor was the primary input, the resource that converted raw materials into capital. In the service economy, human interaction became the commodity, the emotional labor and cognitive processing generating value. But we are now entering the post-labor economy, where the prime input is artificial general intelligence, AGI, housed in humanoid forms. The human is being repositioned from producer to consumer to now nothing. A liability on the balance sheets of civilization. The repositioning is not occurring democratically. The architecture of this new world order is being designed by what we might call the cognitive elite, the top 50 wealthiest individuals on earth, the tech oligarchs and venture capitalists who control the platforms, the data, and the infrastructure of the future. When Mark Zuckerberg announces that AI will replace mid-level engineers at Meta, when Elon Musk predicts that AI will make employment optional, by which he means unnecessary, when Jeff Bezos automates the remaining human touches in Amazon's logistics chain, they are not merely making business decisions. They are authoring the social contract of the 21st century without consent from the signatories. The question of who determines this fate is not conspiratorial, it is structural. The concentration of wealth has reached a point where a handful of individuals control capital flow, exceeding the GDP of most nations. They fund the research labs. They own the robotics companies. What does obsolescence actually look like for the average person who doesn't own significant capital or control the algorithms within their systems? It looks like the gradual evaporation of economic identity. It is the recent college graduate with $100,000 in student debt discovering that entry-level positions in their field have been automated by AI tools. It is the 50-year-old truck driver facing autonomous vehicle technology that will render 20 years of experience worthless. It is the graphic designer watching Mid-Journey generate in seconds what used to require days of creative labor. It is the call center employee replaced by conversational AI that never loses its temper, never needs a mental health day, and never asks for a raise. The psychological impact of this displacement extends beyond unemployment. We are witnessing a collapse of traditional work ethics, which has organized Western civilization for 4 centuries. The belief that labor is virtuous, that work provides meaning, that economic contribution equals social worth. When the machines perform the labor, what is the human for? The New World Order offers no logical answer to this question. It provides only the market's verdict. You are not needed. This creates a crisis of legitimacy for the existing social order. The social contract of the 20th century was straightforward. Contribute labor, receive wages, participate in consumption, maintain stability. But when labor is no longer required, the entire edifice crumbles. We are already seeing the fractures. The rise of precarious gig work, the housing affordability crisis, the mental health epidemic among young people who cannot envision stable economic futures. And just yesterday, the president stated that he wanted to bring back insane asylums. Let that sink in. The volatile political realignment of people who correctly conclude that existing structures offer them no viable future. The New World Order is not a conspiracy of shadowy figures in a smoke-filled room. It is the emergent property of optimization algorithms and capital efficiency. It is the exhaustion point of an extractive model that drilled human potential to depletion, then declared the remaining husk obsolete compared to mechanical perfection. It is the transition from human capitalism to automated rentier capitalism, where value is generated by machines owned by a shrinking elite, and the masses are left to what? Universal basic income? Digital serfdom? Obsolescence. Yeah. They render us obsolete. The Twilight Zone episode understood something that our current technologists prefer to ignore. When a society declares human categories obsolete, it doesn't just justify jobs. It eliminates the justification for human existence within that society. Romney Wordsworth was killed not because he was dangerous, but because he was embarrassing. He represented a past that the state wanted to forget. We are approaching a similar moment of cultural amnesia, where the working and middle class, the average person who cannot code, cannot invest, cannot adapt at the speed of technological change. It becomes an embarrassing reminder of a slower, less efficient time. The New World Order promises efficiency, abundance, and the end of drudgery. But it delivers these promises to a shrinking demographic. For everyone else, it offers a future where your children's economic value will be calculated against the operating cost of humanoids. And the humanoid will win. Where your expertise is constantly devalued by software updates, where your physical presence is replaced by digital interface, where your biological needs, food, shelter, healthcare, are treated as inefficiencies in a system optimized for return on investments. We are being processed according to the law of accelerating returns, of creative destruction, of capital's endless search for cheaper inputs. The tribunal is not a group of men in robes, but a spreadsheet. The chant of obsolete is not shouted by actors on a soundstage, but whispered in stock valuations and automation's timelines. The New World Order is here, people. It is the world where human value is no longer assumed, but must be justified against mechanical perfection. It is the world where the top 50 richest people determine the economic viability of billions. It is the world where the question is no longer, how do we ensure everyone has work? But rather, what do we do with all of these unnecessary people? And if I'm being honest, it almost feels like they're all laughing in our face, not caring about the long-term consequences so long as the dollar signs add up. Don't you feel that? And that is the question that should terrify us. Because in the New World Order, the answer is being written in code. And so far, the code doesn't include us. The world won't announce when it stops needing us. You can take that to the bank. There will be no alarms, no warnings, just fewer places for us to matter. Efficiency will replace effort. Speed will replace skills. And usefulness will quietly replace humanity in more ways than one. And I'm not trying to make this about fear of technology, people. Trust me. I'm talking about what happens when people are no longer the priority. Because the moment big corps decide humans are expendable, that calculus treating people as surplus will eventually bring their downfall. At least that's the hope. They themselves will be entrapped and destroyed by their own greed, rendering them obsolete, not humanity. And if there is still a line left to cross or a line left to draw, it is here. Before we forget how to say it, I'm telling you right now, I am not obsolete. Until next time.